Hi everyone, we've got a new Player of the Week selection on eFootball. We've also got a Champions League Player of the Week selection. I'm going to do a separate review for that one. I'll be uploading that video either tonight or tomorrow. I'm also going to be uploading a video, hopefully today, if not tomorrow, of some of the new player faces that have been added to the game with today's update. So keep your eyes out for those videos. They'll be getting uploaded soon. As always with these Player of the Week selections, I'll be putting timestamps in the description for each player. So if there's a particular player you want to hear about, just click in the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to that player. So let's have a look at who we've got. So, as always, we start the lowest rated. Got a couple of 4 stars. Our goalkeeper, Arnau Tenas from PSG. So, to be honest, for a 4-star keeper, he's pretty good. The awareness and the reflex is both pretty good, 89, 88. So, good shot stopper. The catching's pretty good at 85. Parrying 82 is not bad. 81 reach isn't brilliant. He's 6'1", which is an okay height for a keeper, if not brilliant. And jumping only 70, we know they like to give goalkeepers low jumping on these trending cards. So in terms of reach, he could be a little bit limited. That's probably the main reason he's only a 4-star card. But in terms of his core goalkeeping attributes, especially the awareness and reflexes, when it comes to the shot stopping, it looks like he could be pretty effective. So for a 4-star card especially, I think he's a pretty good goalkeeper. But in general, I think it's certainly a decent option to pick up. So yeah, not a bad card, that. And then the other 4-star got Stuani from Girona. So yeah, like with a lot of strikers we've had in these kind of Player of the Week and Player of the Month packs lately, good awareness, good finishing, and then you're kind of looking around elsewhere thinking, okay, what else is there? He's horrible on the ball. He's not got good passing. He's not very quick. He is quite physically strong, decent in the air. 6'1", jumping 86, physical 81, heading 84. We look at his skills. He doesn't have aerial superiority or acrobatic finishing, but he does have heading, so he might be decent from crosses, but he won't be amazing. First time shot, the most important skill for a striker, so it's good he's got that. Beyond that, I think super sub's the only real important one. So he could be a decent super sub to pick up, but in all honesty, yes, he's quite physically strong and he's got good awareness and finishing, but beyond that, there's not a lot there to get excited about. So if I'm honest, I don't think that's a particularly great card. It's not one I'm going to be too keen to get. Then we have Endo. So, super sub version of Endo. He's very much a defensive midfielder. Can play centre back and right back. He's not got the pace for right back. At centre back, you could probably get away with him. Not the tallest. He's not got aerial superiority. So, if your opponent's got tall strikers, don't even think about it. But the opponent's strikers aren't the tallest and they're not too quick either. He could be a pretty effective centre back, but I think ultimately this guy is a defensive midfielder. Defensively strong in that position, especially tackling 92 is fantastic. Not the best pace, but it could be worse. Physical contact's very good. Balance isn't too bad for a defensive midfielder. Stamina 87 is pretty decent. The main concern for me would be down here, the technicals. He's not brilliant on the ball. He's not got brilliant passing. It could be worse. You can get away with it. A lot of people don't seem to need anything more than that. A lot of people I know train their defensive midfielders to be around about that level with these attributes. So you might find that's okay for you. And if that's the case, certainly with these most important ones here, this could be a very, very good card for you. He's an anchor man. He will literally just sit in front of the defense. He won't move around too much. He won't be making attacking runs. Looking at the skill set, they have given him first time shot and long range curler, which is absolutely useless for a defensive midfielder with the anchorman playstyle. But it is what it is. Man marking, interception, acrobatic clearance, good skills for defensive mid, and obviously, like I say, super sub. Could be very useful if you're defending a lead second half. Bring him on, help shore out the midfield, protect the defense. Yeah, I think ultimately it's a good defensive midfielder. Not perfect, like I say, down the left, a little bit lacking in my opinion, a bit lacking in pace, but outside of that, yeah, I think a good, strong defensive midfielder. And then we have Tomori. So I've had a couple of versions of Tomori before. I like him. He's good. He's quite responsive. Bit of an all-rounder. Decent pace. Really good leap on him. Physical contact's decent. Not brilliant, but decent. And defensively, tackling's great in 92. The rest of the defensives are okay. They're not bad, but could be higher. So he's not an elite level centre-back by any means. But uh, compared to the versions of him that I've had and that I currently have, he's pretty similar. And like I say, I like him. He's always done a good job for me. You look at the skills, they're giving him first time shot. So, I mean, like with Endo, that's useless. But, I mean, maybe he might come up for a corner or something. But most importantly, man marking, interception, aerial superiority, sliding tackle, fighting spirit. So he could do with blocker, maybe acrobatic clearance. So he's not got all the skills you might want a centre-back to have, but he's got some of the most important ones. I think ultimately he's not quite on the level of an elite centre-back, you know, a really, really top centre-back, but I like him personally from experience, and I think on the whole, looking at the attributes and the skills, it's a pretty good, solid centre-back card. And then we have Gatti, another centre-back from Juventus. So, they've made Gatti an extra front man, normally a build-up. And we'll go to his skills first, because this is a brilliant one. You speak about useless skills. They give him a Scotch move. So if you've always wanted a centre-back who can do a Scotch move right in the middle of your defence, congratulations. But beyond that, they've also given it interception, which is actually quite useful. So man marking, interception, aerial superiority, starting tackle, fighting spirit. Again, there's no blocker, acrobatic clearance. So he's lacking a few skills, but he's got some of the most important ones. His pace, he's not got the best acceleration, but 78 speed is pretty decent. I think decent pace on the whole. Not brilliant, but decent enough. Jumping 83. He's got aerial superiority. He's 6'3", so he should be pretty good in the air, especially with 90 physical contact. 81 stamina is good for a centre-back. Passing is pretty decent for a centre-back. And then those core defensives, not brilliant, but not disastrously bad either. He's very aggressive. 84, 83, 85 for those three most important defensive attributes. He's passable. I think on the whole, he's a big, strong boy. He's got a bit of everything. But I think the main thing with Gatti is just the play style. If you like that play style, it could be an interesting one. It could be worth picking up. If you don't like that play style, I don't think he's quite good enough technically to be worth having, really, to be honest. I don't personally like that play style. I don't like my centre-backs to go striding forward. So if I'm going to have a centre-back with that play style, he's going to have to be absolutely amazing for me to want to play him. This guy does actually look quite good for me on the whole. Not brilliant, but pretty good, quite interesting. But that playstyle for me is what kills it. So if the playstyle works for you, it could be quite interesting, but otherwise, not the best. And then we have Brahim Diaz. So like with Tomori, I've had a couple of versions of Brahim Diaz. I like him. He feels really neat on the ball, quite fluid and responsive. As you see, he's got very decent pace, the acceleration especially, really good balance, really good on the ball, passing is decent. They've made him a right midfielder. He's normally just attacking mid SS or as a wide forward on either side, but you can play right midfield. So if you want a left-footed right midfielder cutting inside, this could be a really nice card to pick up. He's a creative playmaker. Not my favourite playing style for a wide midfielder, because he won't always make the most aggressive runs forward, and that can be frustrating for me, but it depends what works for you. It might be okay for you. Left-footed, as I mentioned, but very two-footed. Looking at the skill set, I don't think I've changed anything. He's got a bunch of dribbly stuff, and he's already got one-touch pass and through passing. So with 82 for low pass, his passing is not going to be brilliant, but it's certainly not going to be bad. With one-touch pass and through passing, he's very capable of producing a through pass and making something happen. And like I say, very nice on the ball. He's quick, he's responsive. He's a good card. He's a fun one to use. So I think personally, this is a really good card. So if you get this one, give him a try. You might like him. And then we have Anthony Gordon. So as a Newcastle fan, I wanted to be excited about this card, but outside of that, really good pace, and that is really good pace. There's not really a lot going on here, because outside of the speed and acceleration, the only two attributes he's got that are 80 or above, 80 for stamina, which isn't even great, and then 87 dribbling, which is very good, but that's it. Everything else in the 70s or 60s. Attacking awareness and finishing 79, okay, that's not too bad, pretty decent, but I mean, tight possession 72, his passing's not particularly good. Not with the best balance, physical contact's quite low. Look at the skill set, I don't think they've changed anything with the skill set. He's got long range curler, long range shooting, dipping shot, so his shooting should be quite decent to be fair. One touch passing, through passing, and pinpoint crossing. So those three will compensate to some extent for his passing not being great, but you're still going to have to be careful not to ask too much of him. But I think you're going to want to focus mainly on the shooting with this guy, because his shooting is a bit higher there at 79. So maybe I think he's probably best on the left, cutting inside, getting into shooting positions. And like I say, if you play to his strengths with that really good pace and the dribbling, it could be a very effective card. But yeah, as I say, I just think there aren't quite enough attributes here over 80. He's a bit disappointing in a few areas for me. I've got the one that was available in the nominating contract pack last month. I'm quite happy with that one. I don't think this one's much better apart from being quicker. So yeah, a little bit disappointing for me as a Newcastle fan. I think they could have done more with him, but certainly if you play to his strengths, he could be very effective. Then we have Joao Felix. So for me, the best thing about this card, they've changed him from a creative playmaker to a roaming flank. As I've mentioned quite a few times now, I don't like creative playmaker out wide. So roaming flank, playing this guy out wide, he will be more aggressive with his movement forwards, making attacking runs into good positions. You can play him through the middle as well. Looking at his attributes, he's got pretty decent pace. Balance isn't bad. Really nice on the ball. I've got a version of him from the Champions League pack a few weeks ago. It's very nice on the ball. I like him a lot. Passing's not brilliant, but it could be worse. Likewise with the attacking awareness. Finishing 81's decent. When you look at the skill set, they've taken away gamesmanship and given him chip shot control. Don't think that's a big deal, to be honest. He's already got one touch passing through passing though. Got some dribbly stuff. Outside curler and heel trick are nice ones to have. The main ones are one touch passing through passing though. So you add them onto that 79 low passes. Passing should be decent, if not brilliant. So don't ask too much of him with his passing. But yeah, I think similar to Gordon, if you play to his strengths, I mean, it's a different card to Gordon. I think this is a better card. But be careful with the passing, but certainly he can finish. He's very nice on the ball. He's got very decent pace. I don't think you could play him as an attacking midfielder. His passing is not quite good enough, in my opinion. Attacking awareness not good enough to be a striker. But I think as an SS, he could be very decent. Could be a really neat little player in there. And then wide left, either with left midfield or left forward, I think could be very effective there as well. So, yeah. I think that's a very good card, actually. I'd be quite pleased if I get that. Then we have Colwill from Chelsea. So, defensive fullback. Obviously, he's technically a centre-back. That's his main position, but he's been playing a bit of left-back lately for Chelsea. Looking at the way he's been built with his attributes, he's been built as a really good defensive left-back, to be honest. He can play centre-back still, obviously. With defensive engagement only 79, I would not play him there. That's too low. So I'm only going to look at him as a left-back. Technically, not brilliant, but he could be worse. I think for people who like a really defensive fullback, and there are people who like to play with three or... I mean, if they let us play four centre-backs, I think a lot of people would play with four centre-backs. That's the way some people are in this game. And if that's the way you are, you like your fullbacks to be an extra centre-back. I think those attributes down the left will be fine for you. Defensively, he's pretty strong for a fullback. Pace is pretty good. Certainly speed 88. Physical contact, very good for a fullback. Balance, not brilliant, but could be worse. This is a centre-back who's been converted to left-back at the end of the day. Stamina 89 is good. Looking at the skill set, one touch passing through passing, very nice to have in a fullback. That's a nice bonus. Heading and air superiority, so good in the air for a fullback. Interception, man marking, sliding tackle. So it's a pretty good selection of skills, to be fair. If you like a fullback to get forward, to be putting good crosses in and all the rest, not going to be for you. He's not going to be your cup of tea. But if you want a really defensive fullback, like I say, you want your fullback to be like a kind of extra centre-back out wide to really protect you in defensive areas. I think this is a pretty solid card to pick up. I think you might really like this one. And then we have Barella. So this is interesting. I've had Barella since the beginning. He's one of the first players I signed with GP. I got his regular version. I've had a couple of featured ones since. I love him. He's just a real all-rounder in the middle of the park, box to box usually. He's all over the pitch. He does everything. But what they've done with him here, they've made him a whole player, which is a very nice playing style, very popular playing style. Just means basically he's going to keep making runs into spaces all the time. His attributes pretty much what you expect usually from Barella. He's not amazing anywhere, but he's pretty good everywhere. You know, on the ball, the passing, defensively, decent pace for a midfielder. Physical contact not too bad for a little guy. Balance is pretty good. Stamina's good. Looking at the skill set, they've added through passing. So I think, is it outside curler as well? So one touch passing, through passing, long range shooting, pinpoint crossing, and then down here, track back, interception, sliding tackle, acrobatic clearance. He's got a bit of everything going forward and defensively. He's got the important stats all over the midfield. So with the whole player playing style, attacking midfielder with the skills he's got and his attributes could be really effective. Could be a really nice one to pick up. Centre midfielder could still be very effective there, like pretty much every version of him has been in the game. Just with the whole player playing style, he's going to be making runs mainly forward and not so much backward because he won't be box to box anymore. Defensive midfield, though, he's actually very capable there because if you're playing defensive midfield, the fact he's not a box to box anymore, he's now a whole player. If you play in defensive midfield, whole player's not active there. So if you play Barella as a defensive midfielder, he will actually play as a defensive midfielder. And he's actually got a really interesting set of attributes there. So not the most physically imposing, obviously, but the pace, the balance, how good he is technically. I think he could be a really nice defensive midfielder. So for me, this is a player who could be very good defensive midfield, very good centre midfield, and very good attacking midfield. 3 positions where he could be a really good player for you. I think this is a really valuable card. I'll be very, very happy if I get this card. I think it's yeah, I think it's just a great card. Very, very good. And then finally, Odegaard. So, Martin Odegaard, his usual playstyle of orchestrator. What they've changed is they've given him first time shot, one touch pass, possibly outside curler. He might already have that, but first time shot and one touch pass. Those two really, really important skills to have for an attacking midfielder, especially one touch pass. We've already got through passing and pinpoint crossing and long range shooting. We're looking at the attributes. Attacking awareness 86 is good for an attacking midfielder. On the ball, he's very good. Passing is very good. Finishing 81 is pretty good. Pace isn't the best. That's the one area where he's really lacking, to be honest. 70 speed is not great. Balance is pretty decent, 83. Stamina 85 is okay. He can play wide right, but he's not quick enough. You're not going to play him there, I don't think. Centre midfield, he's not defensively strong. I don't think you'd want to play him there. And he's got his usual playing style of orchestrator, which means playing in centre midfield, he'll kind of loiter around in the middle of the park. He'll just want to orchestrate from deep. He won't make many attacking runs. Can be frustrating. If it suits you, that could be great. But if it doesn't, it's not ideal. But the good thing is that if you play him as an attacking midfielder, orchestrator won't be active as his player style. So he will actually play as more of a normal attacking midfielder, maybe more like a, maybe not necessarily a whole player, but sort of maybe more like a cross between a creative playmaker and a whole player. He will make moves forward. And when you look at his attributes and his skill set as an attacking midfielder, especially with the attacking awareness of 86, he will make attacking runs. He will get into spaces playing as an attacking midfielder. And being as good as he is technically on the ball and with his passing, as long as you don't mind the fact he's lacking in pace, I think this is a fantastic card. It's a very good version of Odegaard, especially with the fact they've added first time shot and one touch passes skills. So yeah, very strong card. So on the whole, as always, it's a mixed bag. I think there's some decent ones in there. I think Barella and Odegaard, both very good cards. Felix and Colwill, there's some good ones in there. Brahim Diaz, yeah, a good selection, to be honest. I think it's pretty decent. Like I say, I will be uploading a review of the Champions League selection. I'll try and get that one done tonight. If not, then that'll be tomorrow. So I'll be uploading that soon, and keep your eyes out for the player faces video as well. I'll be getting that one uploaded as soon as I can as well. So keep your eyes out for those. But yeah, hopefully you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. As always, I will see you soon.